Okay, fine. So uh, yesterday, just a recap. So yesterday, we have given a basic touch to the data types, I believe, right? And we have seen like what does each data type mean in the uh, Python language. Okay, so these are the data types. We have just understood what does each of them mean, and we have also understood what all are mutable in this and what are immutable. Okay, so we will be seeing that again after a while. Like I will be mentioning what all are immutable. But today's goal is a few topics we need to cover today. So first thing is we are going to see something called as typecasting.
Santosh, what about data type none?
Yeah, good. See, data type none is actually, yeah, the last one. Data type none is actually it has got nothing to do with any of the applications or functions. The only thing where you're going to use is, for example, you have defined a function, okay, and let's say your function is some data is a function, okay, and so there is nothing yet to return from there. Okay, there are no functions, no operation that is actually happening over there, right? So for the time sake you can just put it as none. Okay, so it's that's the only purpose of the data type, right? So it is not going to uh, have any other purpose in this scenario. Okay, so it's not like uh, for example, if you have the int or string, right, so you can define something, some variable over there, but none is just a data type given, so that it means nothing. So when you do not have anything to return yet, right, so you can just pass it as none, because you will be understanding it more once we discuss the functions concept. So a few classes, in coming few classes, we are going to discuss functions, right? So I'll be explaining you again the none. So that's the reason I not touch that. Okay, so it's when the function has nothing, no body is empty, right? So but still the Python expects something. So in that case, you can just give it as none, right? So at this point, you can understand it that way. But we are going to touch it again once we come back to functions concept. Okay.
Sure, Santosh.
Yeah. So yeah, today the goal is we'll be seeing something called as typecasting. Okay. Second thing is we need to see something called as escape characters. Okay. Third thing is we need to see operators. Okay, different type of operators. Okay, so today again the class is going to be consisting of like a lot of small things but important things. Okay, so like each day there will be like different types of concepts we are going to discuss, right? And the pattern changes. So from like yesterday, today, and I think tomorrow or the Monday class will be okay. One second, yeah. So will be in that way, like there will be like small concepts we are going to discuss. Post that, once we pick up each one of these data type, okay, let's say one class we are going to discuss string extensively and list extensively, then that is we'll be focusing on each data type extensively. Okay, so do we have all? Yes, Risha, any network issues? I saw you joined, uh, got left. Hello, you're not audible, Risha. Did you say something?
The network is unstable, so
Okay, fine. Fine. So now let's start with typecasting. Okay. So typecasting, yeah. So let's start with the first concept, typecasting. Okay. So see, now what is the use of typecasting is, now we are studying all these data types, right? So we are studying all these different data types. That's fine, because when Python is like invented, right? So people has decided, so these are all the data types that are needed. That's fine. But sometimes we want to convert one data type into another data type. Okay, because to give a simple example, let's say you are working in a company and there are different teams you need to coordinate. Okay, there are different teams you will be connecting with. Let's say this is team 1, team 2, and team 3. right? Just as a very high level example. Now, so how does it work at simple line? So every in simple words, team one will get an input. Okay, raw. Let's say it is getting raw input. Okay, that raw input it will process and it will give you an output. This output will be an input to your team. Let's say you belong to this team too, and you will also do some process and you need to give some output. Okay, and this output will be input to another team, and this will be, let's say this is going to website and the results are getting populated. Okay, simple example. Now the output which team T1 is going to give, okay, should be in an acceptable form from your team. So whatever the format which you are expecting, right? So that should be in that way. Okay, so for example here it is giving you in the string format. Okay, the output from team to string format, but your system can only accept the int format, it cannot accept the string format. Okay, then obviously it fails, the system breaks, right? Because it will give an error that expectation is int but given is string, something like that it will give you. Okay, but even though everything is fine, there are no major issues, but this still the system breaks because there is an break in the data type expectation. So and again, let's say you are processing int and you are sending out int. Okay, but team 3 requirement is it should always accept float, it cannot accept int, right? Again the system breaks over here, right? So to avoid all these gaps, right, so we can use this concept called as typecasting, so that you can convert the data type from one data type into another data type. Okay, let's say you want to convert the string to int. Okay, and you can do from int to float, you can do that. Okay, there are different types that are possible, but still, however, there will be some rules and regulations you need to follow to do the typecasting. So it's not like everything can be converted into everything, so that's not possible. There are only some forms which can be converted to other forms, and they're going to be in such specific shape and form to get converted. Okay, so we are going to see what are we are going to what all we can convert. So basically there are few data types, so which you can do these conversions. Those are, one is int. Okay, second thing is float. Okay, third thing is complex. Okay, fourth thing is bool. Okay, fifth thing is string. Okay, these data types can be converted into one another, and we are going to see what are the rules and regulations. So let's start. So for example, if I, yeah, we do have a typecasting. Yeah, so in the typecasting part, yeah, so initially if I have something, let's say I have a equal to yeah, so we first we'll say like converting into int. Okay, so let's see what all that can be converted into integer. Okay, type casting into int. That means what? Given any value, our goal is to convert it into a integer. So in which case it's possible, which cases it will fail, we are going to see. So now let's say and the way how you can convert is very, very simple. Okay, you can just do int of. Okay, int of, you put a value here, it will convert into integer. So yesterday we were also seeing an example. So if you remember, we are saying when you use input function, okay, when you use input function, and let's say enter a number. Okay, so what does this do? The input function will always ask the user for an input, and by default this will be in what data type? Can anyone tell me? By default the input will be in the
String.
perfect string format, right? Then if you want to convert this into integer, you can just do int of. Okay, you can just do int of this one, right? So for example, if I show you again, so let's say you are having some input a. Okay, and I'm asking this, let's say I'm giving 100. Okay, now a is 100. Okay, and if I say a is 100, and if I say type of a, it is string, str string. Now if I just do int, okay, if I do int, now the same thing, a is 100, right? Now a is 100 and type of a is int, as you can see. So this is what we are doing, is we are just simply converting the string data type into int data type. So that is also a typecasting. Now similarly we are going to extend and see what all values that are allowed to give here so that we can convert into integer data type. But the thing you need to remember here is to convert any data type into integer, the keyword is you just need to give int of, that's it. Int will understand and it will do the typecasting. Now let's see. So if I give you int of, okay, if I give you int of, let's say some 100.56. So what is this 100.56 data type is?
Float.
Float, right? So now you can convert float into int, that is acceptable. Okay, float into int is acceptable. So if I just note it down somewhere, so float, f is for float, float to int is acceptable, okay, as we have seen. Now let's say you will have something called as now int of now 100 plus 10j. Now what is 100 plus 10j data type?
Complex.
Complex. Now that is not possible, okay, so you cannot convert a complex, okay, complex is not allowed to be converted into integer, okay. Now after that, so we are seeing like what all data types we can convert. Now let's say you are having something called as string. So when you put anything in quotes, it becomes string, right? So I am putting 100 into 100. This is not 100, this is a string 100, okay, string 100. I'm trying to convert it into int. So now if I do, that got converted, right? So string can be converted into int, but there isn't catch over here. Now in the inside, if I just give 100, okay, point some, let's say 5, okay, it gives me an error. If you convert a string, okay, into integer, which is a number, that number should always be a integer number, it cannot be a float number, okay. String get converted, but only integer string, okay. Now see the difference. This is also string, this is also a string. Why string? Because we are putting in quotes. Yesterday we discussed and we have decided that anything you put into string quotes, Python will treat it as a string format. Now to convert a particular string into integer, it is possible, but only when the value inside the string should be in an actual the integer, the whole number. It cannot be a fraction, okay, or decimal value. Okay, this is a decimal value. Even though this is a string, it will not allow to convert a number. It should be the complete integer value so that you can convert it into integer. Okay, so now next thing is we have something called as Boolean value, right? We have seen what are Boolean values, true and false. So that is possible, right? And true is always one I have seen, and false is always 0. Okay, that is possible, right? And then if you have int of a string, so some string, let's say data, right? So that is not possible, right? So let's have a quick recap. Let's try to understand. See, if you are having a float, normal float inside int, that is possible. Why? Logically also what it can do, it will just trim off these values and it will take only the integer part, that is 100. Okay, so a float can be converted into integer. Okay, float can be converted into integer. Okay, so let me right, so to integer what all can be converted. Okay, one is float. Next, complex cannot be converted. Okay, yes, no. Okay, float can be converted, complex cannot be converted into integer. Okay, then after that, string can be converted. Okay, string can be converted, but string of int can be converted. Okay, the value inside the string should be integer. Okay, the value inside the string should be integer to get converted into integer data type. But when the string is having a float, okay, like this string is having a float, that is not allowed to be converted, okay, to integer. After that, we have something called as Boolean values. Okay, Boolean values are what? True and false. So true, by default, Python will consider true as 1, I said, okay, and false as 0. Yesterday I have shown you true plus true is true plus true will be
2.
2, right? So because true is 1, 1 plus 1 will be 2. So you are converting int of 1 is 1 and int of 0 is 0. So bool, yes, bool can be converted. Both true and false can be converted. After that string. So obviously this will make very sense, right? So when you're converting something to integer, what is int of apple or int of banana? It doesn't make any sense, right? So how you can convert a character into integer? So that is not possible. So obviously it will say invalid literal for integer. So the actual string or the character, okay, the character cannot be converted into integer. Okay, so these are the values, these are the ways, okay, how you can do the typecasting. Only float, boolean, and the string with an integer can only be converted into integer. So any other thing you cannot be converted into integer. And the way how you can convert is simply int of the value. Okay, I hope this is clear. Any doubts, guys?
So
Correct.
Santosh, so we can convert float, but only till integer part, right? So 100.5, so only till 100 we can, that will convert to integer,
No,
right?
float you cannot convert. See, how how can you convert float? When you see, I'm giving float here, right? Till 100
Oh,
means, see, when you are
No,
considering,
if it's in a string, we cannot convert. But if it's
so
not in a string, we can convert, right? So what we
only
say?
direct float. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
direct float, it will cut down the decimal after the decimal values,
correct.
right?
okay,
Correct. If it is direct float, you can do that. Okay. So if it is a string format, you cannot do that. Correct.
sure, sure. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, fine. So any doubts? Sirisha, Megan, you understood, guys? Any doubts, or are we good?
No doubt, sir.
Okay, perfect. So post that, yeah. So then let's see float. Okay, now float typecasting we will see. Right. So what all can be converted into float? So float, yeah. So the way simple, float is a keyword that is used to convert any value to float. Now what all values we can convert? Let's see. Given integer, okay, obviously it is getting converted into float, right? 10 is an integer that will be converted into float. That means it will add a decimal like 10.0. So obviously integer can be converted. Cool. And then let's give some complex cannot be converted to float. Okay, and let's see the boolean values that can be converted, but if you see the value will be 1.0 because it is float. But in integer, when you're trying to convert true, it is 1 because the value should be integer. So when you're doing int, the value will be integer. When you're doing float, the value will be float. Now if I give boolean of false, it will be 0.0. Now the interesting thing comes. Now when I give inside a string, okay, I'm giving string, and I am saying 100. It is able to convert. Now if I do float, okay, in integer it did not allow. Just now we were discussing, right? In integer it did not allow integer of float. It did not allow string format when the string is in the having float. Now when I having this, any guess whether it will allow or not? Okay, it allows because it's float, right? See, because it is float and you are taking the, you are giving a float, so it can convert. But earlier what you are doing, okay, earlier what you are doing, it is an, the value you need to be converted is integer. Okay, the value you need to be converted is integer, but you are giving a float. So if it is direct float, okay, if it is direct float, it can just trim off this. But when you are giving it is in a string format, right, when you are giving it in the string format, it is not, it is not going to convert because it doesn't know like what to do with this part, right? It will convert, it will consider this as a complete some character. It will not understand what to do with this decimal part. So that's the reason it will say it cannot convert when you are trying to do the int conversion. But when it is float, okay, when it is float, so it can handle the float values. So obviously it can convert the whole values, whole float values into given which are in the string format into float. Now if you do float of some 10, it will give an error. Okay, so I think the float is a bit more easy to understand, because for example, if you see it, almost all conversions are possible. Okay, so the int conversion is possible in float, the complex is not possible any which way, and the bool is able to convert, false is able to convert, float a string in the integer format is also is able to convert, string in the float format is also able to convert, and obviously the actual string, the character is anyhow not going to make sense, right? So what all the cases it's failing? So I think it's only the you can remember it this way: the float can be converted, anything can be converted into float, okay, except complex and the actual string in the sense having some characters. Okay, apart from this, actually anything can be converted: int, float, a string with an integer, string with a float, everything can be converted into a float value. Okay, so next we are going to see, yeah, uh bool typecasting. So this will be a bit interesting to see. Now boolean is what? Just true and false. Agree? Now when you are giving, okay, when you are giving bool of, okay, when you are giving bool of 0, right? See, true is always considered as 1 in Python, false is always considered as 0 in Python, so which we have discussed multiple times. Okay, true plus, I'll show you once again, true plus true is 2. We did not give any integer, but still we got the integer as answer, because true is by default 1. Okay, and false is false minus true minus false will be 1, because false is 0, and these two values belong to a particular data type called as bool data type. Okay, bool has only two values under it, true and false, and to convert any value into bool data type, we are going to use the keyword bool. Okay, just like int, just like float, we are going to use the bool. Now let's see what all values you can give inside this bool, and in what all cases it works and what all cases it fails. Okay, now initially if you give bool of 0, right, bool of 0, it is false, right? Obviously, because false is 0, so 0 is false. Okay, false is 0, so when you give 0, it will give false. Next important thing is bool of 1. Okay, that is true. Agree? Now see, bool of 10. Okay, it will be true, because in the integer bool value, bool, if you give any integer except 0, okay, if you give any integer except 0, that will be considered as true. Okay, give any integer to the bool, that will be considered as true, because let's say if you give some 100, that will be considered as true. So first I'll give an overview where all the bool will fail. Okay, bool will be, so that it will be better to understand, bool will be false. Okay, bool will be false in few cases. One case is if you are giving an integer and if that integer is 0, then bool will be false. Okay, in each data type there are specific values where the bool will be false. Apart from that, it will be true. Okay, actually observe this carefully, because bool will be very easy, but it is also very easy to get confused. We will see where we will get confused. If you are giving an integer value and if that integer value is 0, then bool can be false, as you can see here. Okay, now if you are giving a float, okay, if you are giving a float value and if that float is 0.0, okay, only in this case bool will again be false. That means what? Apart from 0.0, any float value you give, bool will also always be true. Apart from 0, any integer value you give, bool will always be true. Only if you give 0, which is integer, bool will be false. Only if you give 0.0, which is a float, bool will be false. And coming to complex, only if you give 0 plus 0j, it will give it, bool will be false. Okay, and coming to string. Okay, now coming to string, if you have like empty string and if you just give quotes, okay, which is an empty string, in that case I'll put it here string. Okay, this is complex, right? In string, in string data type, if you are trying to give a string data type, right, if you give just empty string, no, null string, in that case also bool will be false. Okay, so in each data type you have only few values, that means these are all zero values, right? So when bool of 0 will be false, right? Now in integer it is 0. Now what is the equivalent of 0 in float? Because in float you don't have 0, right? But what will be the equivalent of 0 in float?
0.0.
0.0, right? Then if you give that, in other words, you are giving 0 only. So, okay, if it is 0 in integer, it is 0.0 in float. So, for this value also, bool will be false. And what is the equivalent of 0 in complex? 0 plus 0 j? Because what is this? X plus ij is a complex form, right? So, it's 0 plus 0 j is the equivalent of 0. Here also, the bool will be false. And in string, what will be the equivalent of 0? That means null, because string will not have any integer values, right? So, what is the equivalent of 0? It's a null string. In that case also you will have a false value. Okay, we are going to see all this practically, but are we good till this point, guys, or shall I repeat? Let me know. You can unmute or you can just give it in the chat. Guys, you there?
Yeah, we are good till this point.
Okay, fine. So now we will see the examples, right? So let me put this way now. Okay, now false of false will be false and true of true will be true. So that means we are getting the actual value of bool. Now let's see each of the case which we have discussed. Now coming to integer, so when you're giving an integer, let's say you're giving 10 true, 100 true, any value will be true except 0. Okay, except 0. As I said, except 0. If you give 0 from the integer data type, it will be false. Agree? Now coming to float value, now I'm giving float of some value 10.2, it will be true. Some 100.55, some random number, true. So any value you give, that means what? Non-zero value. In other words, non-zero values will always be true, zero values will always be false. Okay, as I said, zero values will, false is 0, true is non-zero. So 0 in the sense, now the equivalent value of 0 will change as per the data type. So in integer it is 0. That's why for all integer values where it is 0, it will get false. And coming to float, the 0 means it is 0.0, right? Because float should be in decimal format. So when you give 0.0, that will be false. Okay, in float type. Apart from this value, whatever float value you are going to give, that is going to be always true. Okay, now coming to complex, so 0 plus 0j, okay, only that will be false. Apart from that, because that is equivalent of 0, apart from that, even if you give any value, okay, any value you give, that is going to be considered as true. But the moment only when you give 0, which actually means it's a complete 0, that then bool is false, right? In other words, this whole things become 0, because 0 plus 0j is actually 0, right? So in that case bool will be 0. Now coming to string, okay, now coming to string, yeah, so you give any value, right? You are going to get it as true, right? So but yeah, give and some value, you're going to get it as true. But if you give null string, okay, this is if you give like empty string, then that will be false. Okay, the moment you don't give anything, that will be equivalent of 0, right? That is going to be false. But even if you give a null, like empty string, I mean the null string with a space, okay, even though it is having a space, then also that will be considered as a non-empty string, because space is also a character, right? So then also you are getting true if you observe. Only when you don't give any input at all, okay, null string, so then only it is going to be false. Okay, the moment if you give even a space also, then that is going to be true. Okay, now if you see, I'm giving false. Okay, now we have seen bool of true is true, bool of false is false. So now I am going to give true. Oh, sorry, true. Now what will be the value? What will be the result? Can you guess?
False.
Somebody in the chat. Okay, what is okay? Yes. Yeah. False. Why, Mohan?
No, it will be true, right? It's not an empty string.
Consider as a string also.
Okay. Now, cool. Now, bool of false will be false, right? So I'm giving bool of false. So the value will be false, right?
So
No,
Right.
it will be. Yeah.
The value will be false, right?
No, it will be true, right?
Why?
It's not an
would
empty
it
string,
consider
right?
as a string, sir?
Yeah.
You're giving the codes.
Yeah, perfect. Then I think you are not sleeping. Okay, right. So because so because people can simply trick you, but when you see it's false, it's not the actual false. Okay, because when you're putting into string, so that does not make any sense. What after once you start quotes, right? So then Python will not listen anything. It will just consider whatever you are giving inside that as a string. So even if you give true also inside string, even if you give false also inside string, so the actual values of true and false, which are boolean, so that will not be applied now. Okay, so now when you're putting false inside a quotes, so this is completely a string, and as we have seen here, except null string, everything will be true. So this is a not a null string, so this will be true, right? But the moment when you use only false, as you can see by color coding also, which is a keyword, so false in green color, so this will be false. Okay, cool. So I think we are good till these type conversions. Okay, and now the next thing is string typecasting. String typecasting is one of the most easy and very simple typecasting, because there are no much rules. You can convert anything to string. Okay, the only thing is just give str. Okay, str and 10 works, 10.2 float works, string of some complex number 10 plus 5j works, right? And some string of some what you're saying, let me give a boolean value, works, right? So string is not going to have any restrictions, it's only put in the quotes, right? So that's the reason anything can be converted into string data type. Okay, so mainly I would say these are the type conversions we need to understand, and I don't think like there is any difficulty to understand this, because they're like because the code is very minimal. You don't need to write separately anything to convert into int. Just use the int word, float word, complex word, and similar bool word, string word. Okay, when we are discussing each one of these data type, right, the list tuple in coming classes, we are going to see the same thing. Okay, even for list also, to convert something into list, you can just use the list keyword. Okay, because yesterday, if you remember, we are seeing an example that set is not going we were saying set is not going to set is not going to allow any duplicates, right? So how did we convert a list to set? Just use the keyword set. Okay, just we are discussing, I'll show you one example, but when we are discussing those specific data types, I will dig more. Okay, for example, yesterday I was saying, if you are having a list, okay, L equal to some list like what, 11 22 22 11 33 44 55 1 1 2 2. Now what is L? L is list. How? Type of L will give you list. Now there are so many duplicates. 11 is repeated, 22 is repeated, 1 is repeated, 2 is repeated. I don't want the duplicate. Just remove the duplicates. How can you do that? You can simply convert into list. You can convert the list into set, because as you know, the property of set is it does not accept duplicates. Okay, it does not like duplicates. It cannot accept duplicates. So if you just convert the list into set, automatically the duplicates gets removed. How are you going to do that? Just use the set keyword, set. Inside that you need to give this list. What is this? This list is L. Just give L over here and you print it. As you can see, all duplicates got removed. Okay, you can see only unique values. But as we have seen yesterday, the order will not be like followed over here, or order is not preserved in set. Okay, because 111 the order is completely different. The first is actually the 1122, but you can see 1122 over here. The order is not preserved, but however the duplicates will be completely removed. So with single line of code you can just, you are doing like typecasting, like you are converting the list into set by using this set keyword. Okay, that's a use of typecasting in another way. But you are going to, once we are discussing these data types, right, so you will be understanding it in more detail. And now we need to discuss moving forward. So we need to discuss few concepts which are like, you can think that these are all like small concepts, but believe me, when you're actually working, right, so these are going to help you in many ways. These are going to very helpful once you start building something. Now let's see a new topic called escape characters. Okay, so in Python you have different escape characters. Okay, now what does escape characters mean? For example, let's say you are having a variable x. Okay, and it is data people. Okay, and when you print x, you have the you are having the data people. For example, I want to print x. Okay, you are having data people. But now if you want the data and people to be printed in two different lines, right, so you can use this value, okay, which is called an escape character. Because the reason it's called escape character is, it is these two characters slash, backslash and n, they are also inside the quotes. Agree, they are also inside the quotes. But whenever the Python interpreter sees a backslash, right, so it will understand, okay, I am going to get some instruction, so it will not consider this to just print it. Ideally what should happen, it should print the whole thing, because as per the rule, whatever you give into the x, when you're printing x, it should print the whole thing. If you give data, it should print data. If you give people, it should print people. If you give data people, it should print data people. But Python has given us some flexibility. So just to play with how you are going to print it and use it, to do that, you need to use the backslash. And once you give a specific character over here, it is going to do a specific task. Okay, and we are going to see. And because it is escaping the printing the actual, or it is escaping this to be considered as a string, right, it's not actually considering these two as string. Okay, it is considering that, okay, that is having some functionality to do with. That's the reason these are getting escaped from the string functionality. So that's the reason it's called as escape characters. Now what does escape characters do? So you can just give, when you give escape character, right, for example slash n, the moment it says slash n, that means it's a new line. So okay, that means go to new line. The till data it will print. When you see it slash n, the cursor comes back to next line. Okay, and then it will start printing whatever you give over here. Okay, and you can just play with it. Okay, escape characters are like very like easy to play with. And if you can just give spaces over here, spaces over here, it will print whatever your gives. Okay, so any is like go to next line, and you can give something like this also. Okay, and you can create many designs. Okay, so wherever it sees slash n, it just goes to next line. So pop is one line, and slash n go to next line, le. Okay, that is regarding the slash n. And next thing is, similarly you have similarly you have something called as let's see next, t. Okay, t is just tab. It will give a tab space. That's it, nothing more. Sometimes if you want print, for example, we have Mohan, okay, something like that. Okay, instead of you wanted just tab space. Okay, so let's say you want data and people in the next line, but you want a space between every person. Just give it tab space. Okay, So data, after that slash n, go to next line. After that print people. After that you are having slash t, that means give a tab space. After that print Mohan. After that again slash t, give a tab space, and then print Sirisha Nikila, something like that. Okay, so that's it. And next thing is we have something called as yeah. So next thing is this is going to this, right? Yeah. So you are having B before backspace. Okay, it will just go one step back. Okay, it will just delete the backspace. See, this is general how you when you hit backspace in computer, what happens? It will delete one character, right? So same thing will happen over here. When you give slash B, that means one step back. Okay, and when you're doing, yeah, for example, when you're doing slash F, okay, it will just take one step forward. Okay, nothing fancy over here, but there is slash R actually. Okay, I need to tell you slash R, it will, what you know what it will do. Slash R is called as carriage return. Okay, so so it's not that you are going to use all these rights in some point of time, but it is when you are learning, right? So it's always important to learn everything and then use what is required, right? So now slash R is what it will do means, see, it's important. Whatever you are giving after slash R, okay, whatever you are giving, it will take that and put it in the beginning. That's it. So that means after slash R, what you have 1, 2, 3, take that 1, 2, 3 and replace before slash R. Okay, you are having something, then you are having slash R, then you are having something. So when it sees slash R, that means it's called carriage return in Python. So what it will do, it's going to replace this with this till whatever. So if you're having 3 characters here, the first 3 characters will be replaced and the remaining will be left untouched. Okay. So for example, if you see here, I'm saying data people slash R, and then I'm giving 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh, sorry. I need to, okay. So x equal to. Now, as you can see here, is it visible? Let me zoom it a bit. Yeah. So as you can see here, after slash R, you are having 1, 2, 3, right? So it will take that 1, 2, 3 and replace before slash R. Okay. And it will print what all it gets, right? So what happened? What did I do? Data people one. Oh, sorry, I need to print it. Okay. Now when you print it, so as you can see, this the 1, 2, 3 got replaced with DAT. Okay, DAT is 3 characters, and I require 3 characters, so these 3 characters will be replaced with these 3 characters, and after from A, P, E, O, P, P, the same thing gets printed. Okay, so that's it. So nothing more required with the, I would say, slash R. Okay, and after that, yeah, so this is important. So this particular escape character, right? So as you know, when you are printing something, you are putting into quotes, you are putting everything in quotes. Okay, like data 1, 2, 3. I said whenever the Python sees the start quote, right, it will wait, it will understand, the Python interpreter will understand, okay, this is a start of the code, and it will wait for the end of the code. Okay, till it encounters another end of the code, it will consider everything as string. That means the whole thing it will consider as enclosed in string. But in some cases, you want the code should also print. Okay, you want this particular single code to also get printed. Okay, yeah, for example, you are having okay, there's a difference between mothers and mothers, right? So mothers is different from mothers, right? So mothers is like plural. We are saying like 10 mothers, 20 mothers, but here you are saying mothers, okay, specific mother's job, a particular mother's job or mother's family. Okay, these two will actually convey two different meanings. Just there's a difference with just one code will make a difference. So now if I do like MOTHER, okay, and if I don't give a quote over here, if I just say slash R, okay, and if I do 1, 2, 3, it will give me an error. Because why? Because this is the start of the code, and the moment when he sees the another code, it will consider, okay, from this code to this code, the string has ended, that is done. But what is this S123? Why you are giving without a code? There is only ending code, but there is no starting code for this S123. Okay, how does this make sense? So that's the reason what you need to do is you need to just use an escape character over here like this. So now when you do here, the moment when you see black slash, and then you will understand, okay, the next character of blacks after black slash should not be taken the general meaning, that it is going to give some specific meaning. Okay, so that's why backslash quote is print the black slash as it is. So now you can get mothers, and of course this quote can be printed. Okay, and you can give mothers, for example, if you give family, so you can print mother's family. Okay, and similarly you can print double quotes also. It's the same thing, nothing fancy, I would say. And similarly you can print the black backslash also. Okay, sometimes you want to print the backslash itself, right? So in that case you give one more backslash. First backslash is saying that we are going that the escape character is starting, and second backslash is the actual thing which you are giving, the backslash you are going to print. Okay, so these are the escape characters, I would say. So you might use this, you might not use this mostly, but I have seen in initial times when you are practicing, right? So you will use this, but the slash n, so when you are actually working with files, right, I'll give a practical example. So when you're using, let's say you are having a text file, okay, .txt saved somewhere in the your local C drive or D drive, and this is Jupyter notebook, you are accessing that in the, from notebook Jupyter. Okay, from Jupyter notebook you are accessing this text file, and you need to print each and every line. If this text file is having a story, okay, let's say you are having a movie script and it is having like 10 lines, you want to print line by line in that. But if you print this, if you just access this, you can just simply access this text file. You are going to see in our next classes how you are going to do that, and you can print this. It will print everything in one go. Okay, everything in one paragraph. But if you just want to go line by line, what you can do is at the end of this line you can just insert /n. Once you do that, so everything will be printed in new line. Okay, so in that cases, to be more visually appealing, right, so you can use this /n and /t, all these type of characters, I would say. Okay, so I think we are good with escape characters. I think that should be fine. And next thing is, right, so next thing you are going to see operators. Okay, yeah, so there are different types of operators actually. Okay, because for example, if I show you in Python, right, so under the operators concept, so I would say operators would be the one concept. Suppose that our plan is to dig into each data type and see a lot of examples for each data type, and then we are going to start the iterations like loops for loop by loop, and then we are going to touch the functions. So that's the plan. So to understand some operations on data types, right, so if you're adding a one data type with another data type, list plus list, or tuple minus tuple, or some operations, and we are comparing some if A is greater than B or B is less than C, something like that, and if it is equal to this, not equal to this, so all these, right, so you need to understand operators concept. So once you understand this operator concept, the next concept will be pretty much easy for you, right? So that's the reason I would say, so this is the order. So if you go in this order, right, so the next classes will be easy for you. So coming to operators, right, so we are having different types of operators in Python. Okay, one is like arithmetic operator. Second thing is relational operator. Third thing is, let's say you have equality operator. Fourth thing you have logical operator. Okay, and then you have something called as assignment operators. Okay, then you also have something called as ternary operator. Okay, then you have something called as there is a special operators sort of thing is there, and in that you have two things, identity and something called as membership. Okay, don't get scared, don't get worried with this. A lot of operators, they are like small topics, just you should have knowledge of each and every topic, right? Because when what happens is, the reason why I'm touching this is, when you are going through some code, see, once you get a job, what happens, you will be working on like lots of code. Okay, you need to access some GitHub repos, the code will be in the Git, right? So even if you don't understand a single line of code, right, so there might be a simple relational operator over there saying that there will be some operation like a and b, if a greater than b. Okay, some condition you are having. Now if you don't understand what does this actually mean, a and b, okay, then the whole thing, you will have a difficulty to understand what's happening after that code, right? So it's important to line each line of code, right, when you are analyzing something. So that's the reason we are going to cover the operators concept, right? So let's start with the basic operator concept. And yeah, we'll ask. So let me ask, so Sirisha and Meghna, so today you have college, right? Or are you guys going to college? So can we like extend for 5 or 10 minutes, or how does it work?
Sir, we can extend.
Okay, fine. So I'll try to cover the operators, so arithmetic operators. Fine. So fine. So let's jump into concept. So as you said, operation, nothing like it's doing some operations, like different types of operations on different data types. So initially, as we already know, first thing with arithmetic operator. Okay. So arithmetic operator, you will be having, and in arithmetic operators, it's simple. So you have what, plus, you have places for addition, minus is for subtraction. The same thing in this, star is for asterisk is for multiplications, French slash is for division, modulus is for the modulus operator, and double slash is for floor operator, and this is for exponent. Okay, so we are going to see. So if you quickly start, okay, for example, let's say, yeah, okay, I'll just take an example and you can understand better. So I'm having a is 10 or 100, b is 10. Okay, now let's quickly do what print a plus b. Okay, and let's do, we'll do a minus b. Okay, I know you might be always, you might expect the result, but we need to cover this so that you will understand what's happening. Okay, and we are having percentage. Okay, then we are having, yeah, so let me print this unsupported for bytes. Why you are saying that a equal to 10, b equal to 20? What does that mean? Okay, we'll see that. So now if you see here, a equal to 100, b equal to 20. So obviously a plus b, I think you already know, addition, b, a minus b, a into b, it's a multiplication. Okay, now a by b is a division, but there is a catch over here. So now what is, I'll just ask you now, let's say 10 by 5, what will be the answer?
2.2.
No, it will be 2.0. Okay,
Yeah, 2.2.
yeah, 2.0. So remember, so it's a fundamental step. So this float operator, right? So float operator is always and always going to give you decimal value only, floating value only. Okay, this one, right? So yeah, so I mean, that's a division operator. Okay, this is called division operator. Division operator is always giving you uh, float value only. Okay, so this was important because when I was giving my Microsoft certification for Python, right, so I faced like few questions like this. So you will make a silly mistake, right? So as I said in the initial class, Python is so simple that you will make simple mistakes. So 10 by 5 is not 2. Okay, you might think that we are dividing integer by integer, how can you get a float value? But according to Python division rules. So if you divide any two numbers, whatever the number it could be, so if you divide a float by integer or integer by float, float by float, anything by anything, the result when you are dividing, the value will always be float. Okay, So that's one thing you need to understand over here. So after that, yeah, so if you want to take the only, if you want to take only the integer part of this, okay, then you need to give the double slash. Okay, for example, if I say okay, if I say, see, actually what is 10 by 3? 10 by 3 will give you a fraction like 3.333. But if you want to take only the integer value of it, then you go for double slash. So which is like a, it's called float division operator. So float division operator is always going to give you the integer value. Division operator is always going to give you the float value. Okay, try to remember that. And after that, you have the modulus operator. So this is a modulus operator, so it will give you the remainder. Okay, so for example, if I say 10 modulus 3, so the value will be 1, because when you divide 10 by 3, you will get 391. So this remainder is what you are going to get over here. Okay, this modulus is the remainder one. Okay, so modulus is going to be the remainder one. And exponential, so obviously 100 raised to the power of 20 times is going to this one. Okay, so the main concept, I think these are all pretty basic, but one thing you need to remember mainly is slash is going to, okay, this is a divisor operator, is always going to give you the float value, and this called floor division. Okay, floor division is always going to give you the integer value. Okay, the reason why it's called the floor is also it has a meaning, because you will see in when you are discussing another concept, because when you are you are having a number. Okay, so what's the number you had? Let's say you are having 10 by 3. You are having 10 by 3. The actual 10 by 3 is 3.3, right? So it is considered as, okay, so see, the value is 3.3. Okay, let's say it is standing over here in a room. This is floor, right? And this is ceiling. Okay, now if you the actual value is 3.3. So if you want to take the floor value, it will take only the minimum value, like it will just bring down. So floor is in down, right? So it will take the, it will bring down 3.3 to just 3. If you use seal, we are going to seal the ceiling. There is actual function in Python, it's called ceil. We are going to see it will, ceiling in the top is top, right? That means go to the next number, it will take 4. Okay, floor is go down, that means in the downward direction. So the floor will be below us, right? So that means go to the next number in this direction, the next lesser number, then 3.3, that is 3. If you use seal, the top, that means ceiling fan, something like that, that means in the top direction, go to the next number. Okay, I will show you these ones when we are discussing the module called as math module, where you have all these type of functions like pi, seal, flow, random, etc. We have many things. Okay, but always coming back, so always remember floor division. Okay, normal division is giving you float, and floor division double slash is always giving you integer. And this is the modulus operator, which will give you the remainder of whatever you are dividing. Okay, so this is regarding the, I would say, the what I mean, the arithmetic operator. And then then we are going to see one more interesting thing actually. So if you see, if you are going to add, okay, so when you are adding with integer, that's fine, but how does it works within string? Okay, let's see. So if you're having some Durga Devi, something like that. Okay, or let me take data science class itself. Okay, now data is a string, right? So now if I try to add okay, class, so any guess whether it will be able to add or not? Just give a guess. We're adding a string to a string, will it add?
Concatenate.
Yes. Okay, let's see. So if you add, yeah, it works. So it will just concatenate both data and class. Subtraction, any guess?
So
It will work?
No.
Okay, it doesn't work. Okay, cool. And multiplication, it doesn't work. Fine. So now if I take one more example, let's say there's a data, okay, and I'm adding a actually, and let's say I'm adding a one more, I'm adding an integer 10. Now what will be the answer? Can you add a integer to a data?
Yeah. Both are strings only, right? In this case. Can
Yeah, correct. So the answer will be
data 10.
correct, because these both are strings. You are adding both strings. Now if I have data and I want to add 10, now what happens? Can you guess?
So type error.
Yes, so that does not make any sense. So how you can add data to 10? Okay. And finally, coming to multiplication. Okay, multiplication. If you have data, okay, and if I want to multiply with 2, will this work?
Yes, data.
Right. So it will multiply 2 times data. So will it work? Then will it work into 3.5? I want 3.5 times. It should work, right?
No.
Correct. Okay, it will not work because how it can multiply 3.5 times. Fine. So just to summarize, right? So string, okay, string, you can add a string to string. Okay, let's see the summarization. When you're adding string plus string, you can do. It is very obvious. Okay, it will just concatenate. Okay, see, for example, it is you can say morning plus class plus sleep plus, okay, again sleep. Okay, it will just concatenate. Okay, so string plus string, it works fine. After that, inside that string you can give any value. Okay, that works fine. So even if you give integer, that also works fine. After that, string plus integer, it's not going to work because that not going to make any sense. Now string you can multiply also. Okay, you can also say some people into 2, it will multiply as many times as you have. Okay, but will this work? I have a doubt. 8 into people, will it work? People into 8 is fine, it works. Okay, so whether you give 8 into string or string into 8, it works, right? And after that, multiplication with the integer value will only work, but float, it will not work. Okay, so fundamentally, plus value is used for concatenation. Okay, concatenation of strings. Asterisk value or multiplication value is used for the multiplication of the strings. It will multiply as many times. Concatenation is, it is going to just add the value. Okay, so I would say, so coming to arithmetic, right? So knowing this should be enough for you, like how you can operate this, and all this, like subtraction, division, these things are not going to work for strings, obvious, but for integers, as we have seen, it works with just specific conditions. And for string, the arithmetic operators are, as we have seen, it will work with only string plus string and string into an integer, which is not a float value, it should be an actual integer. That works, right? And that's about the arithmetic operator. And I think next we have something called as relationship operator. And but we have like three or four operators to cover, but fine. So I think it might get late for a few people, so let me stop the class here. But let me know, like, if you're having any questions till this point. uh, like, are we good with the operators? Did you understand? I think there should not be any difficulty, at least in this, but still let me know if there was any confusion or anywhere you had some difficulty to understand.
I'm fine, Santosh. Thanks.
Yeah, because so I'm repeating again. So because as these are like extremely simple concepts which you can feel in the initial classes, but it is also very easy to just skip from your mind. Okay, if you don't practice, like, post this class, okay, then after that, after a few days, you will not remember, like, 8 by 2 is not going you 4, but it's always 4.0. Okay, these small things are very easy to skip because as I said, the problem with Python is it's very simple, and people will skip this small thing. So I would say, I would recommend, since you already have the Jupyter notebook, so play with these type of operators, okay, so that it just stays in your mind, since we have it's fresh in your mind, right, since we are just discussing. And play with escape characters, okay, because you'll not get this opportunity once you go into next concepts, okay. Then you might feel these are like very 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 small concepts, you don't want to again come back to this. But since you're learning now, right, so you will have some time and interest to play with these small concepts. So that's the reason I'm suggesting, okay. So you can just go revise escape characters, you will have multiple examples. Okay, then you typecasting is a very important thing. So just see what all we have discussed today, how you can convert, and in which cases it's failing, why it's failing. Okay, when once you start understanding like why it's failing, then it will be more helpful to remember for a long time. Okay, and then operators part. Okay, tomorrow in the sense Monday we are going to cover few more operators, and then my goal is to show you a particular module called as math module, and then we are going to see how you can take the input function and do and write some small, let's write some small programs using input functions. And then we are going to see a particular function called as evolve, okay, which can directly do some evaluations. And finally we are going to see using the print statement. As we have seen, the print is very simple, it is printing values, right? But still there are few like magic things we can do with the print, okay. And it is very very important, okay, when you're printing, right? So there is something called as print format, which is like extremely important, which the people almost every day use in practical projects. Okay, so we are going to discuss these concepts along with operators, and once we are done with this, right, then we are good, the basics will be good. So once we are this, the foundation will be good, and then we can switch to the actual concepts called as the loops, the flow flow control concept, so which are like for loop, and then we are going to dig into each data type. Okay, so yeah, that's the plan. I think we are going good. uh, just let me know if you are having any issues. You can also over the weekend, right? So today, tomorrow and Sunday, so I recommend you to just practice, and you can, as I said, post the questions in our group also, or you can ping me also. We have a group, and we can be interactive, and try to have the solid knowledge. Okay, so that's all from my end. Yeah, you can unmute and ask any questions, or if you are good, I think we are good for today.
So you can continue with operators. We are not going to college today.
Oh, great. Because of my class?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So it's fine with everyone, right? So we will take like more 20 minutes, half an hour sort of class just to cover one more concept. Is it fine? Can I?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, others. At least we'll cover like one more operators. Respond, guys. Thumbs up. Something.
Okay, Santosh.
Okay. Okay, fine. So let's see. Okay, relational operator. So now coming to relational operator, right? I hope everybody is awake, right? Karthik, Nikila, you guys are
Yes, Santosh.
okay. Fine, cool. So I'm not going to because too much of lengthy will also be issue. But I'll cover just one more operators, and we can stop it for today. Okay, no issues. So relational operator. So it's very simple. Okay, so it will just what all we have inside. Let's see. So we have greater than, we have less than, we have greater than or equal to, we have less than or equal to. Okay, that's it, nothing fancy, right? So then if you see, I'm having a equal to let's say 50, and b equal to, okay, some 10, right? So you can say see, print of a greater than b. Okay, after that a greater than b. False. See, try to understand the print statement, what we're doing here. In print statement, whatever you are putting inside the quotes, okay, whatever you are putting inside the quotes, that will print as it is. It doesn't change that, it doesn't touch that. Okay, whatever you are putting here, a greater than b, it is print that as it is. After the moment it says comma over here, okay, the moment it says comma, it will stop printing. Then it will understand, okay, I need to perform some function. Okay, so observe this, because you will get easily confused. I also got easily confused initially, like how it's printing. Okay, just in print statement, whatever you're putting inside quotes, okay, that will be considered as a string to print as it is. It will just print a greater than b, nothing fancy. But the moment it says comma over here, it will stop printing, and it will understand, the interpreter will understand, okay, I need to do some function. That's the reason I'm not putting this in quotes. Okay, here some function should happen. Now what it is happening, it is, I'm asking a is greater than b. Okay, it will consider a is greater than b, 50 is greater than 10. Yes, it is going to give true. The a greater than b, the answer for a greater than b is true. That's why it's printing true. Clear? Clear? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so similarly, but you can do this, you can play with this print also. We are going to see when you're discussing print, but if I show you, I can write, you know, after this also, you can again put a comma, and you again put quotes, and you can say result printed. Okay, so it will give, the moment it saw in quotes, it has printed as it is. After that, you need to give comma, and you are giving some function a greater than b. That means it will do this operation, it will check a greater than b or not. Then the answer is true, it is printing. After that, again comma you are giving. After comma, you want to print again something, you are printing result printed, everything as such. Okay, so you can separate what you want to print, the string, and what action you want to do with comma, and you can extend to this any length. Whatever you want to print, just put it in quotes, and after that just give a comma, and whatever operation you want to perform, plus, minus, greater than, less than, you put it in this way. Okay, so that is print. But coming to relation operator, it is going to check, going to check the relation between two parameters what you're passing, greater than, less than, greater than, equal, less than, equal to, nothing fancy. Okay, so if it is greater than b, I will show you, like a greater than b, true. Yes, a is greater than b. Now a is less than b, false. Okay, obviously. And then a is less than or equal to b, false. A is greater than or equal to b is going to be true. Okay, so that's the fundamental relationship or operator which we have. And if you yeah, so can someone tell me, if I'm printing true, greater than true, answer please. Yes,
False.
correct. Does anybody have contradiction, or everybody agree to false? Yeah, see, it's obviously false, right? Because what is true? True is 1, don't forget, and true is also 1. How can 1 be greater than 1, right? So 1 is equal to 1, so that's why it is false. Okay, but now if you give true greater than or equal to true, then it is true, because 1 is greater than or equal to true. And now if I just say let's say we are having some true is greater than false, right? That is true, because why? 1 is greater than 0. 1 is greater than 0. Yes, that is true. You are getting true. I hope you are following, guys. It's not too confusing, I believe. Guys.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Following.
Yeah, okay. So the moment you see true, right, just convert in your mind it as yeah, convert into your mind as it's 1, and just it is simple. So 1 is greater than 0. Yes, it is 0. Now next, let's see with the string operation. So if I say print 10 is greater than some data, okay, so that does not make any sense, and it is going to give errors. Okay, you cannot compare a number with some integer. Okay, Now with this value, so what you can do is a small program. So if you want to find out greater the number and less the number, so as you have given a equal to 10, b equal to 100, okay, and I'm just showing you, yeah, a condition, if condition. Okay, if a is greater than b, okay, you need to put a colon. Okay, we are going to see this in future class, what is if, but just now, as you can see, you can simply understand, you are comparing if a is greater than b, then we are coming inside and we are printing a is greater than b. Okay, coming here, else if not that, come here and print a is less than b. Okay, now you can just print this. See, as it is saying, a is less than b because 10 is less than 100. So it's a small program, but here you can just improvise it, optimize it, sorry, not optimize, enhance it. How you, instead of giving you a number, so what you can do, you can just put this into input. Okay, this is how you are combining small multiple concept we discussed and write a small program. So input, I'm saying enter first number. Okay, in place of this you are doing inputs enter second number. Okay, now it is asking for input first number, I'm giving 100, second number I'm giving 50. So what will be the answer? I want like everybody to guess. So 150, so a will be 100, b will be 50, so 50, 100 greater than 50, true or false?
True.
True. So 100 greater than 50, so which will print? This if condition statement will print, or the else condition statement will print?
If condition.
If condition will print. Okay, so that is 100% wrong, because this, yeah, so because what is happening over here is, when you are saying, okay, what happened to this kernel went somewhere, so I need to insert the kernel, okay, right. So 100, 50, a is less than b. Okay, because you forgot to use it before. Correct, yeah, correct, Sirish, I'm coming to that, right. I just want to like know whether you guys are following, because when you're saying in input, so you should always remember, when you're typing type of a, okay, and when you're saying type of b, okay, even though you are giving 150, okay, it is the string data type. Okay, it is not the actual 150. Okay, so but in strings also, I think you can also string also, what you can do is, actually I think string is greater than people false, and let's say we are having something called as apple mango is greater than false. There is a comparison, you can also compare string with also a string actually. So what it will do is, it will compare the okay, or for example, if you're having the maple with an apple, true. Okay, see, the reason is, it will compare the characters. Okay, so when you're saying, see, apple and mango greater than or less than, that is not going to make any sense. But still in Python, what happens is, when you are comparing two strings, it will take the character m, and in the first character here a, so the value of m is greater, because if you take the value of a is 1, the first character, m is something around just I'm guessing some 19 like that, so 19 is greater than as 1. It will consider the corresponding integer value from the alphabetical order. Getting? Guys, you get?
Yeah, it is clear.
Yeah, so it is not actually comparing the string, so it will take the character m and a, then it will compare m is greater than or a or not, first character. So okay, so but if I tell you interestingly, okay, let me give the same character. Okay, let's say mango, here I am giving I will start with M. I will say some monster. Okay, false, because M and M both are same. So it is actually comparing first character with first character, and then M is greater than M. No, both are same, so it is not correct. But if I start with some A, okay, first character is A and first character is M. So obviously M, the value of M, the integer value of M will be greater than integer value of A. A is 1, right? So here you are going to get true. Agree? But again, if I give some Z, Zango is greater than A, it is true. But here if I give some K, and here if I give some Z, you are going to get false, because Z is having the last alphabet and it is having the maximum value like 26, and K will be less than that. That's why it's false. But now if both are same, okay, if it is mango, okay, and if it's also starting with M, but next the character is tell me one word with man start with M and whatever.
Maggie.
Okay, Maggie, right? So now it will consider M and M both are same. Okay, it is it will fail over here, and it will not consider this, and yeah, I think it will give you so M is M, both are same, and after that A is also same. Okay, then it will consider N with G. Okay, so wherever it is same, ma, so that is cancelled out. Now it will compare N, the next third character is over here, N. Okay, N is obviously greater than G over here. Okay, so but if you have here one more A over here, then this is false, because the first MA, second MA both are same, so it will go to the third character. M is M compared, fine, A compared, same, go to next character. The third character is here A, but here the third character is G. So now now the comparison between A and G. A is greater than G, false. A is not greater than G. Okay, but if we have some here Z, then that is true, because Z is greater than G. Okay, so this is just how string comparisons will work. Okay, so since we came over here, I just want to discuss that. Okay, but now coming back over here, coming back to this. Okay, you can also play with these things which are just let me put it that way, undo delete cells. Yeah, okay, so you can just play with.
How about in Mango and Maggie? Can you just
Yeah,
give,
yeah, yeah,
explain again?
yeah. So in with Z, okay, see
No,
mango,
no. Yeah, with Mango and Maggie. So the third character is N, right?
right?
So if you run it, it came false earlier.
Correct.
Oh, was it true? Okay.
No, no, true. Because now the comparison between N and G, right? I think N is greater than G in alphabetical order. You will have A, B, C, D of G. G comes first. After that, you will have N.
Correct.
N is greater than G. So it is comparing. So because here M and M, it gets cancelled because same, it will not compare. A and A both are same. Next, you are having here N. Here you are having G. So it is the comparison between N and G. Is N greater than G? Yes. Right?
Okay.
That's why it is true.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, yeah.
But the third value I am giving B. Okay, third value I am giving B. So MA is same, that gets cancelled. Now third character is B, and here the third character is G. Now the comparison between B and G, B greater than G. Is B greater than G? No. So this should be false.
Okay, I'm clear.
Okay, cool. So that is with this thing. So here, coming back to here. So yeah, Meghna. So so this one. So when we are giving input, so always like keep in mind that this will be considered string. Okay, people might sometimes miss that. So that's the reason you got A is less than B, because why here also why you got, because 150, but in string format we input is always string, right? So in string format it is considering. In string format what it is doing, just like how we are considering first character with another character, it is considering 1 with 5, right? It is not considering it as 100 or 50. The moment it is, when you are using input, it is just string. So 1 is less than 5, right? That means A is less than B. That's why it is coming and printing A is less than B, because it is considering string, just like how we are considering strings here. The input is string. Okay, as you can see, the type of A is string, type of B is string, both are strings. So that's why it will do string wise comparison. First character, 1 is less than 5. Yes, 1 is less than 5. Okay, is that clear, Meghna?
Yes, sir.
Right, so but we want the actual value, right? So that's the reason you want to, as Sirisha was saying, you need to do it as int. Okay, so now if you put int, so then your answer will be correct. So now
Santosh, as Sirisha told, can you try with capital letters once?
uh capital, which one, in strings part or over here?
Yeah, like in the below example.
Okay, so
Yeah.
which one you want, capital M?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think when we ask this number, right? So
Like both you can take both the same words, like mango, and with the capital M.
okay. Yeah, so then it goes to the ASCII values. So you need to see the ASCII value of capital M and small m. So it is comparing with M and M, but it is saying that small m is greater than capital M, because let me see the ASCII values of alphabets. I think that should be, yeah. As you can see, this is visible, right? My screen, you can see this Google page, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you can see, the lowercase alphabets are ranging from 97 to 112. Okay. So small a starts with 97 and small z will be 122. Okay. And the uppercase alphabets is starting from 65 to 90. That means capital A is 65. Okay. And capital Z is 90. Clear? So now if you go to this, yeah, if you go to this example, now the what is capital M? Capital M will be somewhere here, right? Greater than 97. Okay. Capital M will be somewhere here. Sorry, small m. So small m. Okay. Small m will be somewhere over here. Let's say 100, like 110, for example. Agree?
Yeah.
Now capital M will be, should be somewhere in between capital A and capital Z, somewhere over here. That means between 65 to 90, it's somewhere 70, for example, let's say. So now the comparison is between small m and capital M. That means small m is 110, 70. So 110 is greater than 70 or not? Yes, it's greater than. That's why you are getting true. Shall I repeat or did you follow?
No, it's clear, Santosh.
Okay, so it internally actually goes to the ASCII values. Okay, so it will just compare with the ASCII values. So you might think that I understood. So you might think that small letter is less than capital letter, and we might expect this to be false. But it goes back ASCII values. In ASCII values, while they are generating ASCII values, right? So they generated the ASCII values for uppercase, the capital letters first. So starting from 65 to 90, there will be capital A to capital Z, and after that from 91 to 96 there will be some special characters actually, like place, minus, etc., special characters, and from 97 again the small characters will start. So that's why the small characters ASCII value is greater than the capital value ASCII value. So that's the reason we are seeing this. Okay, the difference. Okay, fine. So coming back here, yeah. So now when you are doing the int, when you are putting an int before that, so it will consider this as an integer, and you can see the class as integer, and you are doing this. So see, in this small thing only, there are like multiple things which we have considered. First thing is input value. How to take the input, we are checking. How to do the typecasting, we are checking. That means the input is by default string, that we are understanding, and how to convert that is we are understanding, and printing is fine. Type is a function which we have seen how, what type we are getting. After that, if is a condition and checking, this a by a greater than b is a relation operator, that we are checking, and how to print we are checking. And here, as we have seen, you can print the value like a greater than b or a less than b sort of thing. Okay, 150 you can print a is greater than b, true is what we are printing. Okay, you can also play with this. So that's the thing. So like 4 to 5 concepts, like even the small concepts gets accumulated at one place, and as we go forward. Okay, so this is now coming to like relationship operator, right? So you can write a small program. So to find out using this, right, you can simply extend some chat. Okay, hello. Oh, what happened? Chat someone. In this we need follow ask value, sir, once you capture. Oh, Sirisha, you were suggesting something. Sorry, I did not check the chat.
I've asked you the same question, Santosh. It is clear.
Okay, it's the same thing, right? Sirisha, it's clear, right? Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah. So after that, in the relationship operator, right? So you will have uh, you will have just to extend this relationship operator, you can write a small program to calculate the greater than of two numbers or less than. If I'm giving three numbers, you can just write a small program like this to check greater of all the numbers or less than of all the numbers. Okay, and there is also one concept called as chain operators in relationship operators. That means, see, 100 less than 200, it is true. Okay, but if I tell you 100 less than 200 less than 300, you can also give that, so that will be true. Okay, but if I tell you 100 greater than, okay, 200 less than 300 greater than 400 less than 500, something like that, okay, that will be false. You can mix any number of this one, but the fundamental point you need to just remember here is, when you are doing multiple relation operations, the single line you need to remember is, if all comparisons are true, only then the result is true. Okay, if all true, then the answer is true. Even one false, the value is false. Okay, as you can see, 100 greater than 300 is less than 400. This is clear because why? See, it's checking 100 is less than 200. Yes. After that, 200 is less than 300. Yes. 300 is less than 400. Yes. So the value is true. But even if you change one value, even though 100 is less than 200 is true, but 200 greater than 300 is false. But 300 less than 400 is true. But even though in this one situation, if it is failing, as we have seen, one false will be false. So the value is false. Okay, so these are called like chain relationship operators. So where it's simple, to be true, everything should be true. To be false, even one, if it fails in one particular place also, it will fail. Okay, so that's regarding the relationship operator, I would say. So it's just comparing greater than, less than between different numbers. And as we have also seen the string comparison, capital value small value comparison, and also the integer comparison and the chain relationship operator. And there is one more small operator called as equality operator. So it's a small thing, we'll try to cover that. We have equality operator is it's just very simple. So what you need to do is, it will check whether it is equal to or not. Okay, so for example, as we have seen, 100 equal to 500. Okay, double equal to, okay, double equal to will always, as we have seen in our first or second class, so equal to is assigning the value, like 10 sorry, a equal to 10 means you are assigning the value single equal to, but double equal to is you are checking the value, like a equal to b or 10 equal to 20. You are checking, you are asking here, you are asking, you are assigning, where you're asking. Okay, so double equal to 100 equal to 500, that's false, and 100 equal to 100, that is going to be true. Okay, that's simple. But not equal to is important. So 100 this is not equal to, okay, exclamatory and equal to is not equal to 100, not equal to 500, the value will be true because 100 is not equal to 500 is the one which we are going to get. And also you can also compare the strings also. If you're having data equal to data, that is true, okay, but data equal to p, that is false, okay, but data not equal to data p, that is going to be true, okay. But this will not work with integer and string. Data equal to true is false, because that is not going to make any sense, okay. And same thing can also work over here, the chain operators, like 10 equal to 20 equal to 30 equal to 40, okay, that is going to be false, because these are all not equal. But only if everything is same, then it will be true, okay. But if even if one condition fails, then it will fail, okay. So that it is just, but remember, right, so not equal to will help you, because I also learned equal to, but I took some time to find out how you can use not equal to, okay. Just exclamatory equal to will tell you, like, not equal to, this is equal to, okay. So yeah, I would say we can stop here, because too much will cause too much of intake is not good, right. So just to tell you, like, arithmetic operations are extremely simple. As we have seen, relationship operators are just comparing conditions a greater than b or a less than b, okay. Arithmetic or actual mathematical operations, plus minus division. Relationship are like comparing greater than or less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. It is possible with integer and float, and also with string also it is possible to compare greater than, less than, less than, equal to. Equality operator are only two, whether it is equal to, okay, double equal to, or whether it is not equal to, okay. So that is with the equality operator, I would say, okay. So after that, we just had like 3-4 operators, like logical, assigning, ternary operators, so which we are going to cover in our next class. And yeah, so that's the plan we are going to do, okay. So I think we are good. Any questions, guys? Feel free to ask any questions. Or are we good?
Yeah, we're good, Santosh.
Okay, cool. Any doubts, Sirisha, Meghana? Yeah, I think I think you this concept might already covered in your like college course. You might like able to understand it without any difficulty. But still, let me know if you are having any questions. Okay. So yeah, Meghana, you're saying something.
No, sir, no doubts.
Okay, cool. So fine. So that's all for today. So as I said, just take at least half an hour of time and just practice these things. And you can, yeah, everybody has Jupyter Notebook, right? So does anybody having difficulty to, start practicing with Jupyter Notebook? May I know, please? If not, okay, I assume that everybody are able to launch Jupyter Notebook from Anaconda, and able to practice. Okay, cool. So fine. So let's practice, and cool. Let's meet on Monday. Okay. 1 second. So sorry, Srisha is saying yes, sir, but this much not okay. Okay, in college, right? Okay, then I think it should be helpful. Okay, I hope the course is helpful to you. Okay, cool. So fine, let's see some other. So actually, I'm going a bit slow, right, because I can cover the operators in one class, but I think there is no rush, even if it is taking like 5 to 6 classes more to complete Python. I think we are good with that, so that we'll have the thing slowly ingested. So I think we are all okay, right? So I think nobody is in a hurry to complete the course. We can go in this pace, right? So is this good, or like anybody, if you're having any issues, you can let me know.
It's going good, Santosh, on a normal pace.
Hmm. Okay, cool. Fine then. Thank you so much stopping, and let's meet on Monday. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.